everyone. I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. We're going to jump right in with the two hardest questions of all. Who are you and what have you been up to recently?
I am Arthur. I am one third of the New York self-proclaimed alt-punk band, for lack of a term. And we just put out an EP and have been trying to live our lives as close to normal as we can because we are all scatterbrained and we are all a mess with all the things that dropping an album entails.
hmm Have you been able to live kind of normally?
Um, as of recently, yes, now that it's out, because of
hmm
course, the most work happens when behind the scenes
Yep.
before you drop it. So it's like those months leading up, you're like, everything has to be perfect. And of course, no matter how much you prepare and you try to get all the pieces in play, nothing is quote unquote perfect. There
hmm
are definitely parts that you're like, oh, I wish I did this, or you think of something after the fact, or
Yeah.
you think you want the execution to be as seamless as possible. So really getting back to it, I guess. But for the past couple months, it's been anything but. I will say that.
Is it nice to kind of have things calm down a little bit?
Absolutely. This isn't our first release. And to that point, we kind of have had a little bit of time to, learn from each release and make sure we take whatever we've learned and apply it to the next to make it that much stronger just
hmm
because I think something that's super important about being a musician, and especially when you're in your 20s and 30s, is making sure that you're prioritizing life and experiences outside of what you can do musically. Just because
Yeah.
it is a passion and field that takes a lot of commitment and a lot of time and a lot of money. And yeah, I completely lost train of thought, but you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. So going back to your first release, what do you wish you had known then that you know now?
Um, I think something really crucial. Our first release was like, oh my gosh, we're making music. Like, it was really trying to, really trying to just get something out there into like the ether. So when we played a show or whatever, there was something like, check us out. We could say, check us out on Spotify or check us out
hmm
on Apple Music. But I wish we thought about it a little bit more in musically. Like, I think a lot of the things we did were very very like oriented toward us specifically. Like
hmm
we were doing certain things, and maybe there's a little more in the musical kind of like, I don't know how to articulate it properly, but a lot of the things we did were self-serving musically. Like,
hmm
they didn't add much to the songs as a whole. So it's like I listen back to them and I'm like, why is there a guitar solo right here? This makes literally no sense.
hmm
And I think that was just because everyone kind of wanted to show their chops. We were all like significantly younger at the time, so
hmm
it was like, oh, this is a thing we're doing. Cool. Like, what else can we do? We were like just throwing money at things, kind of half with kind of thought out ideas, and
hmm
so I guess maybe just took our time and really kind of analyzed it a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, that's good advice for anyone who's kind of doing their first release.
I concur entirely. Like, just there is a sense of like, oh man, I'm so stoked to be here. Like, this is going to be awesome. This is
hmm
going to be amazing. But I think to that point, there is also a sense of, as cool as that feeling is, there's a sense to it that detaches you from, I guess, and not everyone. Everyone's different, but
Yeah.
there's a sense to it that you like hyper focus on it, and there are definitely things like anyone who's put out music will be like, really wish I did this on my first release. So.
hmm
But that sense of, oh man, I'm really doing it, can also take you out of it and make you overlook things and
Yep.
hype focus on the wrong things. So
Yeah. So now that you've released, you've had several releases since then, have you guys, kind of learned and made mistakes and changed what you wanted to change moving forward?
yeah, absolutely. I would say we definitely have been very like, oh, we need to make sure we don't do X, Y, and Z, or
hmm
we do this one thing just because I think as time goes, we also appreciate these releases a little bit more. It's like, oh, this is the culmination of the past X amount of years. Like,
hmm
where were we? And it's like we listen to the album, and it's like, oh yeah, that's when we were like making a lot of money, real happy, and now we're in careers. And unfortunately, that is not it. The two are not guaranteed to be the same. You think
hmm
you devote your life to a career, you'd make the same amount of money or something, but I don't need to go into that, obviously.
Everyone wishes they could be making more money always. So, for somebody who hasn't seen you guys live, what could they expect?
A lot of banter and inside jokes, and we don't make it like a if you know you know kind of thing.
Hmm.
I will say that, but you will be able to pick up on us making fun of each other pretty quickly, whether it be like a technical difficulty or a reference to something dumb. We're all very different people, which is a double-edged sword to say the least. But to that point, like I'm not gonna say I'm fashionable, but I'm the one who like leans into the trends a little bit, you know? Like I see a cool sneaker, especially being in New York. Like I'm wearing like Nike and like cargo pants and a really cool band t-shirt, and like my front man will have like Ryan, he will have like a Red Hot Chili Peppers tank, and I will never not make fun of him for it. I'm like, you left the house like that. Like people like a lot of banter, a lot of I guess just it's fun, it's us being ourselves. There's no facade. Like you will see the same person on and off the stage. We may seem a little more reserved because we don't know people prior to our set, but
Right.
when how often is someone walking up and going, "Hey, any chance you're on a band tonight? Let's chit chat." Few and far between. So,
Yeah.
you can definitely expect good energy. You can expect good music. You can expect a lot of cutting up and making fun, but energy. Like I think that's a great way to put it. Just good energy. Like you never leave one of those shows like, "Well, that was boring." You
Hmm.
know.
That's
um,
good.
that's something I cannot say about some bands, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's always fun because you want to be energized. That's why you're going.
Absolutely, and it's also like what are the odds you're gonna? We're never like, we will call you out. That is something we will absolutely do. Like, if we see you going to the bathroom, we're like, dude, couldn't go before we played? Like, that bad? And, it works sometimes. And sometimes people are just, they don't catch it or they're like, what are you doing?
Hmm.
But it's like, all right, man, sorry, go tinkle time. Sorry, didn't mean to offend you. Yeah, I think it's tough to not to go off on a tangent, obviously,
Hmm.
but I think it's tough to find that line as a musician, especially of being like authentic, but being like an entertainer.
Hmm.
I feel like every other field is, and I could be wrong on this because I'm not entirely sure, but or I'm not entirely in them rather,
Right.
but like comedians, I think anyone I've met that's comedian, I'm like, okay, this guy's like I can see this is his thing, this is what he does.
Hmm.
And like artists like people who paint or draw like you can their very personalities seem to go with their crafts, whereas I feel
Right.
like it's a little more. I know some crazy talented people who are just like the most socially awkward, and it's
Hmm.
so it's definitely maybe I think it's exclusive to us. It could not be, and I acknowledge that. I'm not downplaying anyone else's
Hmm.
uh but
That's just the experience that you've had.
yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, I also feel like music is one of the ones where, or one of the few careers where there isn't really like a work-life balance.
Hmm.
Because, like, you're a doctor, you're either at work or you're not at work.
Yep.
You're a
Yep.
musician, if you walk around and somebody recognizes you, you're kind of at work.
Yeah, you're like, oh, well, turn it on. Got to be nice, like.
Right.
And I think it's. I'm so used to. I think it's great for people in like major cities. Like I think that's
Hmm.
one of the perks of living in New York for us is we're all like in the service industry. Or two of us are in the service industry. One of us just left, and like he's a videographer, kind of photographer, doing the content thing full
Hmm.
time. And the beauty of these things is, or the beauty of that rather, is that we don't have to take work home with us. It's like we go in, we make some drinks, we go home.
Right.
So if anything band comes up, it's like lock me in, can't do. It's one, two, three. And I think that's why having this giant, like this giant space where there's a billion and one things going on,
Hmm.
it's easy to slip between the cracks as like a smaller band for sure. So it's like it's a tangent, of course, which is what I'm trying to avoid going on. But it's cool to be able to pursue like other things, do all these other things, and
Hmm.
be able to stay completely focused on this because we don't ever have to take work home with us, and
Right.
this can be our full-time job, for lack of a better way,
Hmm.
for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah. How do you balance work-life music?
I am always, always, always doing something musically.
Hmm.
So that quite literally does not stop. Like I will lose a job for music. I will like miss out on things for music, but
Hmm.
I think there's a something being in a band this long has taught me is that not every experience is like that thing you need to be,
Right.
be at. And so I really just a calendar in short. Like I just if it's music, it's already in my head, but like I'll write it down just so I get a reminder soft because like soft before the week of or the week of because
Hmm.
the amount of times I've like, oh, we have a show on the 12th, and then I realize the 12th is in 3 days, and I'm like, oh, when did it become the ninth? Like
Hmm.
I only ever work jobs that are very and I like I don't know where you are based out of, but I feel like the common theme in New York, especially in the service industry, is you are the day person. Like
Hmm.
if we work together, you're Tuesdays, I'm Wednesdays. That is not changing. So I don't ever need to really factor in, oh man, am I gonna work that night? I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
for Wednesday, I'm Tuesday, cool. So when Tuesday and Wednesdays till 5, we are unavailable. I know that. Um,
Hmm.
and just like experiences, I think a lot of my friends are like having kids and moving to like Missouri. Like making life choices, and
Hmm.
I admire that. So I do. If there's a special event, a birthday or a going away party or just like a little barbecue, like if we've got nothing going on, I will make sure I get there.
Hmm.
I will always like be transparent and I cannot make that. Do not expect me to show up,
Right.
but it's like I essentially I build my free time and my life experiences in between the two. I
Hmm.
make sure when my friends come to shows, like I think shows should be an experience. I don't think they should just be like a concert. Like I'm not
Yeah.
when you go to like a show, like you're going for the artist, but you don't want to literally see them walk on the stage, play the instrument, walk off.
Right. You want an experience.
Exactly. And to that point, like we always invite our friends to our shows, like we're please come by, but we're all at a similar point in our life, so it's not too hard for us to, oh, so and so's in Williamsburg right now. Let's bop over there and get a couple of drinks. And then,
Hmm.
we try to make the two overlap as much as we could, is what I'm
Yeah.
getting. So
That's awesome.
thank you.
Your friends must appreciate that because you're making the effort in the way that works for you.
Yeah, and that's the other like I think I'm never like I never shame my friends for not coming to my show. Like my friends will be like 2 blocks away, like this bar's crazy. And I'm like, they have seen us 18 times. Why are you up the block? And when they can. And I think our relationship, they have definitely appreciated that and they take it for what it is. They like it's mutual. They're like,
Hmm.
oh, if he could be here, he would. And vice
Right.
versa. If he could be here, he would. I just leave it at that. And so it is a cool thing to I think kind of that is one thing I think I've gotten my hands on entirely. Like I've taken it and been like, this is what it is. This will not change. This is the best it's going to be, and that is awesome. That is okay.
Hmm. That's a
Um,
good place to be at.
for sure, I agree entirely.
It definitely takes time to get there.
hmm It is a. It's one of those things that I think, especially when you pursue music for an extended period of time, that you are like, it's. I don't know. Like I think I've worked sales doing beer, which is a pivot and a half away. But the,
Hmm.
the correlation is you quickly, when you've been pursuing music so long and you do something like sales, you find that you frequently run out of like your go-tos. Like, how many times can I invite Kelsey from Brooklyn
Hmm.
and Jake from not State Farm, from Queens to my Brooklyn show, my Long Island show, my
Hmm.
Manhattan show, my Westchester show. Like, people also have lives, and I think being able to, my like hack, if you will, is making it convenient for them.
Hmm.
Like, hey man, I don't know if you got plans tonight, but I'm playing here. It's free, like, or it's 10 at the door. I can totally grab you a ticket. I'm driving down, and we'll be passing through your neighborhood.
Hmm.
You want to go? You got to ride to and from, and you can have my drink tickets because I have work in the morning. I'm not drinking, like,
Yeah.
and that's also it's like, oh well, if you're in the house and you're like, damn, I'm kind of bored. What's going on tonight? That's a great spot to be in. It's like I don't have to drive. I get to drink. I'm gonna go see my friend's band, so I know I'm gonna know people there, and I can chit
Hmm.
chat. Yeah, I got to sit through their set, but whatever. Like.
Yeah. Gotta support your friend.
Exactly, and it is cool to just have a large circle in which people are very understanding and grasp that with ease.
I'm glad that you have that support around you.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a something that I do not take for granted.
Yeah, I feel like not everyone is that supportive or that understanding.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I at one point or another have felt kind of burned by, depending on who it's from, for
Hmm.
sure. Just because it's difficult to you don't know what's going on in someone's day to day, so it's very difficult to
Yeah.
gauge like, oh, they didn't want to come to this thing. You like, and then you rack your brain as to like why, and like they knew this was important, and they knew this was blah blah blah, and they knew, but it's like there's always another show,
Hmm.
there's always another hang, there's always another experience, and I think stuff like that is really important to keep in mind, especially when supporting anyone in any format, like just communicating, like obviously, like,
Yeah.
if you can, great, sometimes you don't always have that luxury of being like, oh, I can't make it because X, like,
Right.
but I think a friend's a friend. They will support you when you're right, and they will be with you through your wrongs. Like,
Hmm.
and you will quickly, I think, in this field, find out who that is.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, well, they've been to everything, and I have not been to one thing of theirs. I'm a bad friend. I need to go, and vice versa.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but it is cool to have, and I think that's really what keeps DIY and like that the music scene as a whole going is like
Yeah.
it's. I think there are a billion and one household names at this point that would not be here if they didn't have that one friend that was at everything. Or like, let me
Hmm.
let me do Merch for you, let me do Merch for you, like,
Yeah.
and that it's super important to have that support system, I will say.
So before I ask the last question, was there anything else you want to mention or talk about today?
Um, I'll give a little exclusive tidbit. We are making our return to Europe this summer.
Ooh,
European friends, European fans watching this, you will see us in early July. We have not dropped any routing yet, but we will be back. We do have some studio time planned as well. So we're already cooking on the next release. And those are the two little tidbits I will leave here. No one else has gotten those, so
that's
don't.
super exciting.
It is. I'm very excited because that I just completely repeated you. Yeah, that's super exciting. It is. I'm very excited. It's cool to just kind of roll into another thing, and that's not to take away from this current release because our buddies, we had a monumental amount of people work on this, and they were all friends of ours that are in video and audio and like they're all writers, and we appreciate it immensely. We had again like army of people, but check out the video, check out our stuff on Spotify. Please keep streaming the EP and keep an eye out for those European dates. But it is cool to just be able to be like, all right, this is out, and that's just like a weight off my shoulder, just like
Hmm.
and just roll right into the next thing. It is it's fun because it's like kind of striking while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
It's people are like they're digging this. Well, let's give them something else, and it's like, and then let's go to the bar. Like
Hmm.
it's that will be my last that will be my last thing I say. It is very exciting, and I'm very stoked to get there and do the damn thing as we do. What is your final question, if I may?
Our last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Oof, that's tough. God, oh Jesus, why would you ask me that? Oh, fuck. Fully Ado by Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
That is it. That's an album that's near and dear to me. It's one of my like legacy bands, and I say legacy band. I know they're still active, but I say legacy bands because unless it comes out that they are god awful people, I will love that band no matter what.
Hmm.
They are so synonymous, like with major points in my life, and like just a lot of core memories. Like for whatever for one reason or another, Fall Out Boy was fucking playing. Like it's
Hmm.
crazy. It really does make me rack my brain. I'm like, someone was sitting there and was like, "And cue Fall Out Boy," and I think it's an album that album specifically is an album I could not appreciate when I was younger. But it wasn't because it was bad. It was because I couldn't understand it. There's a lot of
Hmm.
things in there that, in through an adult lens, I'm like, and I now have a like some type of comprehension with music. I can be like, that's crazy that I've never caught that, and it's like a chord progression, and I'm like,
Hmm.
that was so good. It's ascending, and this is descending. What It's like me being a little bit of a nerd, but I just think they're all phenomenal musicians and they're all super talented. And I think they're also from like just outside a major city. Like I also have a tattoo of the album artwork. So
Hmm.
I would make it that. And I need to not think about it anymore because I'm already thinking like, but if I had a second, can I ask what yours is out of sheer curiosity?
I feel like it changes, but I feel like right now maybe the soundtrack to The Office because I listen to that to fall asleep.
Nice, nice. I think my if mine were to rotate, it would be like peripheral vision
Hmm.
for like the fall or the winter.
Okay.
Damn, and Jesus, I would say literally if you grabbed any Sade or Amy Winehouse album,
Hmm.
that would be the nail on the head. That would like it's one of the three at any given moment. I would
Okay.
not if there was a fourth, it'd be Corinne Bailey Rae. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not going.
Okay. So, for all our listeners who want to stay updated on you guys, see you live, hear the new music, where can they find you?
Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, pretty much any streaming platform. And yeah, we probably got accounts floating elsewhere, but those are our mainly active ones.
Hmm.
Instagram, emphasis on Instagram. For lack
Okay.
of a term is our tag on everything. We are the only for lack of a term band on Spotify or Instagram, so not hard to find there. And Instagram, yeah, for lack of a term. Facebook, for lack of a term. You don't have to look very far. One word, no caps, no nothing crazy, no underscores, just for lack of a term.
Okay.
Three guys smiling. You'll piece together real quick.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. I hope you get to check out the EP, as weird as that is. And yeah,
Well, have a nice rest of your day.
you too.
We both know it's time to let this go. Maybe this is for the best. I'll find somewhere else to rest. We both